Welcome to the Book Review Podcast. Today we're diving into a book that honestly sounds almost too good to be true. How to Learn Almost Anything in 48 Hours. It's by Tansel Ali. And if you've ever felt like you're just drowning in information, constantly trying to learn new things but getting nowhere fast, well, this deep dive might just be for you.
Yeah, this isn't your standard study guide. It's really about cognitive skill improvement. Memory training. Ali basically says the old ways of learning, obsolete, especially now.
He argues we need to accelerate things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 5 to 10 times faster.
Exactly. And the key, surprisingly, is creativity. Structured, sometimes bizarre creativity. Not just, reading things over and over.
And we should probably mention why we're taking this guy seriously. Tansel Ali isn't just some theorist.
No way. He's a 3-time Australian memory champion.
All right. And he famously memorized the Sydney Yellow Pages, the phone book.
Over 2,000 business names and numbers.
In just 24 days.
No.
Well, that definitely gives the method some weight, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows this isn't just talk. The system delivers. So our mission today isn't just to list off his techniques. We want to get into the philosophy behind it.
Yeah, understand how it works, how you can actually use this to maybe get past that feeling of overwhelm and learn things efficiently, and maybe even have fun doing it.
That's the surprising part. It can actually be fun.
Okay, so let's unpack that core idea first. Ali kicks off by pointing out something we probably all feel: information overload.
Totally. Apps, news, courses, social media, it's constant.
And the traditional response, rote learning, just repeating stuff, it's not cutting it. It just leads to stress, anxiety, forgetting things.
Yeah, the big problem with rote learning, just pure repetition, is it's actually really inefficient for your brain.
How so?
Well, it mainly uses one side of your brain, the language side, just words.
Oh.
If it tries to cram in all this abstract stuff, name, dates, concepts, without giving your brain anything solid to, hang on to.
Yep.
No structure, no real connection.
So what's the shift he proposes? This is the core, right?
The absolute core. Move from rote repetition to robust imagination. That's the principle.
Imagination.
If you want a strong memory, you need to create imaginative visual stories. Pictures in your head.
Because that uses both sides of the brain.
Exactly. Visuals and language working together. It builds new connections in your brain, way stronger than just repeating words.
Okay. And he provides tools for this, right? I remember reading about Smash and Scope.
Yes. Smash and Scope. It's an acronym developed originally by Tony Buzan and Vanda North, I believe. It gives you 12 principles to make your mental images totally unforgettable.
Unforgettable because they're weird.
Pretty much. So unique the brain has to pay attention. It's designed for rapid learning.
Let's talk about a couple of those, like movement. That one stood out.
Yeah, static images are dull, forgettable. You don't just picture your goal written on a piece of paper.
You picture it doing something.
Doing something crazy, like the paper growing legs and running away, or maybe spinning around frantically. It has to be dynamic.
Okay, dynamic. And then there's humor.
Crucial.
Yeah.
But it's not about what's, objectively funny on TV.
It has to be funny to you.
Exactly. The sillier, the more absurd, maybe even slightly inappropriate for you, the better your brain remembers it. It's personal. Memory is deeply personal.
Which ties into exaggeration, I guess, making things ridiculously big or small. But here's a question I had. If the goal is speed, learning in 48 hours, doesn't spending time thinking up, say, a 6-meter-tall kebab, like the book mentions, doesn't that slow you down?
That's a really good point. It feels like it would add time, right?
Yeah.
But it's about efficiency and storage. You exaggerate because your brain is wired to filter out the mundane, the normal.
Okay.
A regular kebab, your brain just files it under food or lunch, forgettable. But a giant 6-meter kebab, maybe it's waddling down the street wearing a hat.
Your brain goes, whoa, what is that?
Precisely. It flags it as an event, something unusual, important, that needs to be logged immediately. So yeah, the initial creative spark takes a moment, but the memory it creates, instant and sticky.
Okay, that makes sense. The weirdness forces attention. So Smash and Scope gives us the how for making images memorable. But how do we actually turn abstract stuff like inflation or a name into an image in the first place?
Right, that's where the structure comes in. Ali calls it the yellow elephant memory model.
Yellow elephant. Why yellow?
Probably just memorable. It's a 4-step process for tackling those tricky abstract concepts.
Okay, step 1.
Abstract. First, you just identify the slippery stuff, the information that doesn't have a physical shape. Names, numbers, concepts like justice or velocity. things minds struggle to grip.
Got it. Like trying to grab smoke.
Exactly. Step 2 is image. You have to turn that smoke into something solid. Convert the abstract idea into a concrete picture you can see in your mind.
So if the word is creativity...
Maybe you picture a light bulb flashing on. Or maybe Albert Einstein with his crazy hair. If he symbolizes creativity for you, it has to be your image.
Okay, abstract to image. Then step 3, association.
This is where you link your images together. Make a story. And this is absolutely critical. The link must involve physical interaction.
Not just side by side.
No, that's too weak. They can't just be near each other. They have to do something to each other. Often, like violently or humorously.
Give me an example. Pen and paper.
Right. Don't just picture a pen lying on paper. Picture the pen stabbing the paper, shredding it. Or maybe the pen is red hot and burning a hole through the paper.
Okay. Intense. Why does it need to be so active?
Because that forces the memory into a different part of your brain system. Your episodic memory. The part that remembers events, stories, experiences. That's much stronger than just semantic memory, which stores isolated facts.
So the physical interaction makes it an event, the brain logs.
Exactly.
The book had a great example for names, remembering Claire. We turn the sound Claire into an image, maybe something that rhymes like bear.
Right, a visual hook.
But the crucial part for association is not picturing Claire standing next to a bear or even being chased by one.
No, too weak.
You have to picture something more physical, like the bear actually eating Claire.
It sounds gruesome, I know. But that drama, that physical consequence, the brain locks onto that. It's far more memorable than just, oh, Claire was near a bear. The impact makes it stick.
Okay, I get it. Drama equals memory. And the final step, step 4.
Communication. This is about bringing it back. You've created this wild personal story in your head.
Yeah.
Now you need to be able to translate that back into the actual information you need to share or use.
Yeah.
Make it coherent for others.
Right, so you can actually use what you've memorized.
Precisely.
Okay, so we have the creative tools with Smash and Scope, the process with Yellow Elephant. Now let's connect it all to the big promise, the 7-step guide to learning almost anything in 48 hours.
Yeah, this is the roadmap. It's not just techniques. It's about strict time management for those 48 hours.
This is where the rubber meets the road on that 48-hour claim. Step 1.
Yeah.
Gather materials. You get, what, up to 3 hours for this?
Yep. Collect everything. Books, notes, apps, maybe find native speakers if it's a language.
Yeah.
Everything you might possibly need.
Step 2. Develop memorization strategy. Up to 2 hours. This is where you decide which memory techniques to use, right?
Exactly. Are you learning a long list?
Yeah.
Maybe the method of Lotai the Memory Palace is best. Need to nail down facts quickly. Smash and Scope comes in. You choose your tools for the specific job.
Step 3. Organize, prioritize materials. Only about an hour for this.
Yeah, this is crucial for efficiency. If you're learning, say, 1,500 French phrases, you need them listed, maybe in a spreadsheet, ordered somehow. Structure prevents you from wasting time deciding what to do next.
Then step 4, which sounds kind of serious, create accountability up to 1 hour.
It is serious. Ali stresses this. Just telling yourself you'll do it often doesn't work.
You need external pressure.
Pretty much. Tell a friend, family member, post it online, share your 48-hour goal. That pressure helps you push through when it gets tough.
Okay, makes sense. Then the big one, step 5, memorize. This gets the bulk of the time up to 30 hours.
This is the core encoding phase. Get the information into your brain using the visual techniques.
30 hours is still a lot of focused effort. How do you manage that?
Ali suggests starting with short bursts. Don't try to do hours straight away, especially if you're new to this. Build up stamina.
But is it really feasible to cram, say, a whole language foundation into 30 hours of memorizing?
It's feasible because you're only focusing on encoding here, storing the data. You're not trying to deeply understand grammar rules or have fluent conversations during these 30 hours.
So you separate memorization from deeper understanding.
Yes, that separation makes the memorization part much faster than traditional study, where you try to do both at once and get bogged down. Use the 30 hours purely for creating those strong mental images and links.
Okay, so after the 30 hours of intense memorizing, what's next? Step 6, review. This is only up to 1 hour total. Seems small.
It's small but incredibly important. This is spaced repetition. It's how you turn that freshly memorized stuff into long-term memory. Without this, you'll forget most of it.
There's a specific schedule for this, isn't there? Based on the forgetting curve.
Absolutely vital. The reviews need to happen at specific intervals. 1 hour after you finish memorizing, then 1 day later, 1 week later, 1 month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, and then a final one a year later.
Wow, that's precise.
It has to be. Research, like Ebbinghouse's work, shows we forget things exponentially fast. This schedule hits the review right when the memory trace is fading, reinforcing it with minimal effort. It interrupts the forgetting process.
Okay, so a spaced review locks it in long term. And finally, step 7, practice and apply. Up to 10 hours.
This is where it all comes together. Memorization meets understanding.
So if you memorized 1,500 French phrases...
Now you spend these 10 hours actually trying to use them. Speak them, listen for them, put them into practice in a real or simulated environment. This is where true learning happens, connecting the stored info to real-world use.
Okay, that 7-step structure makes the 48-hour time frame seem, well, intense but possible.
It's definitely intense, but it's structured.
Let's make this even more concrete. Can we look at a simple technique, like linking an association for remembering a list?
Perfect example. Great for groceries, to-do lists, anything sequential. It uses those smash-and-scope principles we talked about.
The book had a funny example. 5 items. Shoes, milk, postman, Bonky Blue. How would you link those?
Okay, so you make a mini story. Maybe you visualize taking off your shoes. But instead of feet inside, milk starts pouring out violently.
Okay, weird. Got it.
The milk splashes everywhere, maybe hits the postman right in the eye. He gets furious.
Whoa.
He jumps on his delivery donkey, because why not? And starts chasing you down the street.
Right. Action, emotion.
You're running for your life. You get so stressed and maybe sick. You turn bright blue, like a Smurf.
Okay, that's memorable. Shoes, milk, postman, donkey, back blue. You wouldn't forget that sequence easily.
Exactly. The bizarre visuals, the action, the emotion. It links each item strongly to the next. Much faster and more reliable than just repeating the words.
Okay, simple lists make sense. What about something bigger, like learning a language fast? That's a huge draw for many people.
Yeah, and Ali's approach here is quite radical too, he says. Forget memorizing single vocabulary words, at least initially.
Really? Why?
Because words out of context are hard to use. Instead, memorize entire phrases, high-frequency phrases.
Like how kids learn. They pick up chunks of language.
Precisely. Phrases give you context. Grammar is sort of baked in. You learn sentence patterns naturally.
And how fast can this be?
Well, the book suggests aiming for around 1,500 common phrases. If you memorize about 25 phrases a day, which might take, say, 40 minutes using these techniques,
Okay.
you could have those 1,500 phrases down in about 2 months, which is well under 48 hours of actual study time spread out, enough for basic conversation.
And you'd use the yellow elephant model for the phrases themselves.
Absolutely. Take a Mandarin phrase like N, ADA, Ma, how are you?
Okay.
You break the sounds into images. N sounds like ni. Gadio sounds a bit like how.
Yeah.
And Ma sounds like mother.
Ni hao, mother. Okay.
Now link them. Maybe bang your knee really hard. You cry out, "Ooh!" And suddenly you hear a voice ask, "How did you do that?" You turn, and it's your mother. She then asks the full phrase, N-A, how are you?
Oh. So you link the sound-alike image directly to the meaning through a quick, weird story?
Exactly. Sound to image to meaning. It encodes it instantly. Much faster than drilling flashcards for many people.
It really connects back to that idea of visual processing being key. Which reminds me, how does this relate to something like speed reading? People want to absorb info faster.
Great connection. Speed reading, when done effectively, isn't just about skimming or moving your eyes faster. It actually relies on the same core principle, processing information in visual chunks, using image flow.
So instead of reading word by word by word,
you train your brain to grab groups of words, maybe 3 or 4 at a time, and instantly grasp the concept or image they represent.
like seeing the brown dog as a single image, not 3 separate words.
Exactly. You're processing meaning in chunks, visually. That's why people can often read 2 or 3 times faster with practice. It's the conceptual visual chunking, not just faster eye movement, that makes the difference. It leverages the brain's visual processing power.
Wow. So wrapping this up, what's the real takeaway here? Why should someone pick up this book or try these methods?
I think the biggest thing is it reframes learning completely. It takes it away from being this chore, this source of stress and anxiety about forgetting things.
And turns it into
Something active, creative, even fun. It builds confidence because you see results quickly. It shows you that your memory isn't fixed. It's a skill you can dramatically improve with the right strategies.
It puts you back in control, using imagination instead of just brute force repetition.
Exactly. It prioritizes smart strategy over just working harder in the old, inefficient way.
It definitely makes you think. If these techniques can demonstrably help people memorize massive amounts of information or learn language basics in effectively 48 hours of focused work. What does that say about the limits we usually place on our own learning? What goal have you maybe dismissed as too hard or taking too long that might actually be achievable with a different approach? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought. What could you learn next?
Thanks for listening to the Book Review Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a comment. See you next time.